Hello, it's Abigail Shaman, host of Global Pillage, and we have another great show coming to you. June 17th, 7:30 p.m. at King's Place. We have a fabulous lineup of comedy panelists, but we need you, the hive mind, the audience. So get tickets at kingsplace.co.uk. Come see Global Pillage. It's like a comedy panel show on TV, but we let women play.
Welcome back to part 2 of The Guilty Feminist. So plug in and get ready for the fun.
Welcome back from the interval. Did you have a good interval? Anyone create a coven? Run into anyone that they know? Yes, absolutely. It's like feminist Christmas. It's the annual time when you see other feminists, you go, we should see each other more. I just had somebody, Michele, in the interval message me on Instagram, and this is what they said. They slid into my DMs, and I'm just going to read this as is. Hey, great first half. I know it's the interval and you're probably not going to see this. Wrong. Thought I'd try. My girlfriend has the best I'm a feminist butt. It's I'm a feminist, but I made out with David Seymour when I was 16. Now, Michele, I didn't know what this meant. So I'm in the dressing room going, guys, what does this mean? And everyone just made that noise that you just made. And apparently David Seymour is the leader of the far-right party here called ACT.
That's it.
And
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman, the one that you were talking about.
Yes.
As in fuck, marry, kill.
Yes, he's the one you'd fuck because it'd be quick.
Yes. Now, I mean, that's a very good gag. It's a very good gag. But can I just ask, because I mean, this is quite, you know, I hope David Seymour was also 16. Was he? Were you both 16? He was 20. Okay, people are very angry. A 20-year-old shouldn't be copping off with a 16-year-old.
I don't think so. Isn't it 7:30? So 16 is a year off that. Do you know what I mean when I say 7:30?
No. What does
you
it mean?
half the oldest age adds 7 to it, and the other person has to be
you're meant to you're meant to half your age and add 7.
So 2017, she was 16.
Yeah. Do you have any content? Oh, David! Someone's shouting out. David Seymour's been known to Snapchat 13-year-old girls. That's horrible. That's really horrible. But the person who has the, I mean, can we call it? I'm a feminist, but or we call it a trauma? Those are different things. Some people are in trauma recovery, you know. But what was the context of it? Where did you meet him? It was New Year's Eve, and you were what?
In Whitianga. It's a place, Whitianga is a place up north where they celebrate the new year with a lot of snogging.
Okay, so it's like Scotland, like Hogmanay.
Yes.
I see. But did you fancy him? No. So why did you snog him?
Was it an accident?
Was it just a New Year thing where everyone was kissing everyone and you just sort of thought, oh, it's rude not to? This is how women are raised. Girls are raised just like, oh, don't be rude. If a man puts his tongue in your mouth, you know, just don't let yours just lie there. He might get offended. You don't want to make him feel bad. Is that what happened? Someone said no, but were you there? What happened? That's all.
Is that the end of the...
I think it's too triggering for her to talk about.
Yeah,
really.
I won't understand.
Well, listen, thank you so much for sharing that. And actually, you didn't share it. I've just realised your boyfriend shared it. Or it could have been your girlfriend. Girlfriend. I just realised I didn't check who had shared it. And I'm so sorry I heteronormed you. But I think I heteronormed you because...
Well, David Seymour was involved.
I heteronormed you because, I think what I'm learning is that when you were 16, you kissed David Seymour and he turned you gay forever.
Then he does have a use.
It's time to bring our guests on. All right. Our first guest today is a technical lead and software developer at an open source software company in Wellington. She is also a community organizer and activist for gender equality and Indigenous issues. She wears many hats, often multiple at once, belonging to groups like the National Council of Women, Innovative Young Minds, and more. Please welcome to the stage, Aleisha Amohia. Hello, Aleisha. Thank you so much for coming.
Kia ora, kia ora. Thank you for having me.
We're now going to bring on our second guest. Our second guest today created the iconic self-defense courses for women and girls in the early 80s and still teaches today. Several feminist self-defense groups have grown from her teaching other women to be teachers, and today thousands of women and girls have learned and can still learn how to keep themselves safe and speak out about abuse. And just to be very, very clear, it's not women and girls' jobs to learn self-defense so that men don't hurt them. It's men's job not to hurt women, and it's other men's job to create such an environment where that is absolutely unacceptable. However, we live in the world we live in, and I have done a bit of that kind of thing before, and it does fill me with a kind of power that I think I am entitled also to take. So you are entitled to take self-defense lessons if you want to. You do not have to. But if you are with other feminists doing it, there can be an internal power and an external power. And things like we're talking backstage as you get older, just knowing how to fall, like doing martial arts and things like that, there's a lot of uses for it. And there can be a sort of, it can open up an inner rage that can be very useful in life. Today, she is a senior social worker for the Whare Tiaki Women's Refuge, a refuge for Māori women in the Porirua area of Wellington. She's the highest graded woman in kendo in New Zealand, as a 6th level black belt, and has a dojo in Wellington. She recently, that sounds like Karate Kid, doesn't it? The dojo, yeah. Go down to the dojo. She recently returned from attempting her 7th level in Japan. Please welcome to the stage, Sue Lytollis. So both of you are empowering women and girls in different ways. So first of all, Aleisha, I'm going to ask you, you're a software developer, and so how does that tie into the work you do around equality and inclusion?
Well, being a software developer is actually kind of what radicalized me in the first place.
Oh.
Earlier tonight we were talking about working in male-dominated jobs, right?
Yeah.
And tech is one of those sectors that is so male-dominated. Interestingly, it didn't start out that way because computer work was traditionally kind of seen as secretarial, so it was majority women.
Word processing, I think it was called, when the ladies did it.
No, yes. Exactly. But they were calculators, and when the men realised that they were innovating and building and it could be profitable, they flooded the sector, and now we're in this situation where there's this overwhelming amount of mediocre men. And so here we are. So I kind of fell into activism because I was studying computer science at a university here in Wellington, and I walked into a lecture theatre, and men genuinely did not know what to do with me being in that room. It was very isolating, it was really upsetting, and it was also really stupid because I was good at what I was doing. And I figured there had to be something I could do to feel good about being here. So we created a group called the Victoria University of Wellington Women in Tech. We quickly grew to over 200 members, and looking around rooms that we created environments for, we realised this is very much our space. Why not? And the way that ties into my work now with equity and inclusion is when I was doing all of that work, I realised that a lot of the things we were asking for with a kind of tech overview was actually very similar to a lot of the goals that other women in other male-dominated sectors were asking for. We had a lot of overlapping kaupapa goals, and we were much louder when we worked together. So that's what we started doing. And now I get to build equity and inclusion into tech. So that's something that's quite cool is, yes, we can do equity and inclusion and build this really diverse and interesting workforce, but we can also make sure that the solutions and products that we're building have diversity lenses applied to them and are for everyone and not built by one homogenous group.
Yeah. Amazing one.
Yeah. Can I ask, I find it really interesting that, when the internet turned up, we all thought this is going to be the internet. I saw it arrive. It was delivered by a man on a bicycle. We thought it was going to be really democratic, really accessible. It was going to be this brave new world where women were going to be equal. Wasn't gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation wasn't going to matter. And yet we now find that we live in a world where women receive the most of the online harm. How did that happen, and what do we do about that?
Yeah, online harm is a really interesting one because it has a lot of different forms, and sometimes it's really easy to recognise, it's that quite blatant attacking online. Women like Jacinda Ardern and Dr. Susie Wiles and women in positions of power and influence disproportionately on the receiving end of that. But on the other side of it, it can be less hard to identify, and that's when people use technology to deliberately hurt women and girls and children. And that kind of looks like deep fakes and posting videos and photos online without consent. It also looks like creating AI or algorithms that are designed by a certain type of group and with incomplete and inaccurate data that turns into products like biometrics, which identify groups of people and call them criminals. The internet can be this really powerful tool for good, and unfortunately it can also be used for really, really bad. And I think that tech providers have a responsibility to try to limit that on their platforms and make sure that people can be safe online and interact with their communities in whatever channel they choose. I think that's a responsibility that we as tech providers have. And also, similar to learning self-defense, there is a reactive method that we can all take, and that's to learn how to be safe online and protect our privacy and protect also the privacy of our friends and our whānau. And just kind of, unfortunately, we have to do a lot of learning to look after ourselves.
How do we do that? Because I got an email the other day that said, I know your password, and it was an old password, but it sent an email that looked like it came from my account to my account, so it was like an email to myself, and it claimed that it knew that I was looking at all this porn, like, that I would be ashamed of, and that it had video of me, watching terrible porn, and I was like, well, lol, because I don't. So I was like, you're just phishing, you're sending this out to all of these people, and a lot of people will watch porn, will feel ashamed, and the email was saying, we'll send video, like a Black Mirror episode, to all of your friends and family, of colleagues, of you watching this porn, and presumably, not just watching it.
Right, like having a muffin at the same time.
Yeah, or something. And I thought, God, if I was watching porn and I was, I would be thinking, oh my God, please don't send that to my mother. But it was asking for $1,400 or something like that. But of course, anyone who pays that's just the beginning. They're just going to completely, hold that person to that forever. And it's sort of so. But I was just like, lol. And I rang my husband and just said, this is obviously, but it's come from my email. And he said, they can make it look like that. That's an old password. Just delete it and ignore it. But how do we, I haven't done anything with my laptop that I think is unsafe. How do I combat that kind of thing? Or how do we combat that kind of thing?
I mean, there are a few tricks to kind of identify dodgy emails like that. So few good stories start with, I got an email the other day. But I think in New Zealand there is an organisation where you can forward those emails to and be like, hey, this looks like spam. Can you let me know if it's safe or not? And when they get enough of those, they publicise it and they do a campaign around it. The safest thing, the kind of advice I give is like, if in your gut it feels wrong, just don't reply, delete it, don't click on anything, get rid of it, and definitely don't reply. Because as soon as you reply, they're like, oh, this is an active address that we can keep targeting and keep doing things with. If you're really worried, change your passwords. Don't write them down on a post-it note somewhere. Multi-factor authentication. There's a lot of tools out there.
Are we heading into a Black Mirror episode, like with AI and everything? Are you worried?
Yeah, sometimes I watch Black Mirror, I'm like, this is a little bit too real, as someone who works with tech and knows just how powerful it can be. But don't be scared, because there are good people coming up into the tech industry that want to build tech for good. They will consider ethics and your privacy and your safety when they're building your products. They look less like David Seymour and look more like me. So that's why we need to diversify our tech sector.
So can I come over to you? Because what I'm thinking, Sue, is in the 80s, women protecting themselves was a lot less complicated. Like what Aleisha's talking about is how to avoid someone deep faking you into some kind of extremely abusive pornography or something like that. I mean, that's so complex. You were sort of teaching women how to knee men in the groin if they attacked them in the 80s. It was pretty straightforward, wasn't it? It was awful, but pretty straightforward. How do you feel when you hear about this kind of stuff? Does it scare you?
Kia ora, everyone, and lovely to be here.
Sorry, yes, that's quite a lot to go in on, isn't it?
That's all right.
Hi, Sue. How are you? What a lovely dress. I meant to say.
Shoes. Great shoes.
What shoes? What tights you're wearing? You just look absolutely incredible.
They're Fluvog shoes.
Yeah.
Like, they deserve their own round of applause.
They do. Absolutely. You both look gorgeous, actually, and I'm loving this pink jacket as well. And this, you both look phenomenal. You both look phenomenal. Yeah. So, how was your journey here?
It's fabulous.
And by how was your journey here, I mean since the 80s. How was your journey here?
When I started teaching, and I'm sure only a few people in the audience will remember this, we had telephone boxes, we had milk delivered in milk bottles, and part of my teaching was what to do if you're accosted in a phone box. And
children, phone boxes were...
like
you wanted to
Doctor
make
Who.
a phone call, instead of just sort of like, I don't know, texting someone or FaceTiming them, you had to go into a special glass booth on the street.
And you had to have coins. They're little round metal.
Yeah, little
things.
round. Or sometimes a phone card. You had to go and buy a phone card with a coin and then shove that card. Anyway, they were better times and also worse.
And, okay, obviously I also noticed a difference when videos, though videos might need an explanation as well.
Moving pictures.
Moving pictures. Put them in and see moving pictures. And obviously there was a lot of pornography there, and people would leave it around, or the kids would somehow get involved. And that I noticed the increase of sexual sort of behaviours in schools and so on and so forth, and had to talk to young people about this sort of thing. And then obviously we've evolved into like a really sad case recently where a young person, a young woman in a school environment had a consensual first sexual experience, but then found out that he'd taped it and was sharing it with his buddies. And very, and that's sort of like a whole form of rape that needs a whole new language, And so, but however, the mobile phone can also be your friend, in terms of how you use it for safety. It can be used as a practical weapon, as well as
We'll
Don't
be
know
seeing
somebody
some
with your
more of
phone.
that in a minute. Yeah.
And but 40 years on, I've always said I'd love to not be in this job. Unfortunately, and look, I've seen there's been growth. There's been a lot of growth in terms of awareness, and I'm really impressed that more and more there's more awareness around sexual abuse for boys and men, and how that's coming out in terms of the Royal Commission and all the sorts that we're talking about it more, and hopefully more able to talk about it and get assistance, as opposed to 40 years ago when words like rape and incest were barely used. Yeah.
Do you have any success stories you'd like to share? We're feeling we need something encouraging.
Yes.
Yeah, and to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a few in this audience. I'm guessing maybe a couple of women have done my course in the past. So well done, all of you. But look, recently, I'll give you an interesting. Well, this could happen anywhere, but this was a woman who lived rurally, and every night she'd put her cat out to go to the toilet. And she went to the door, opened it, and there was a naked man there. Threw the cat at him.
Oh, wow.
And
did the cat leap?
Did the cat
out?
look for purchase, is what we want to know.
It was a small rural community, so she reported it. 3 days later, a doctor reported that a bloke had come with cat scratches, so they found him.
Wow.
That is so good. I love the idea.
No, the police have always got dogs, but I am a cat person, and I believe they will tell on you. They will tell on you.
Also, just the idea that you can use your cat not just for companionship, but as a weapon.
I couldn't do it. If I saw a naked man, I would grab Toast to my breast and go, oh, "Don't let the bad man get you."
Is Toast your cat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were just going to get some cook's bread and clutch it to you.
No.
Okay.
I'd try to be. I'd throw myself on Toast to protect her from the naked man, because
I understand.
We've got that kind of relationship. But Seymour, I'd go, you go get him. Go get him, Seymour. Oh my God, that's so gendered, isn't it? That I would clutch my girl cat to my breast, but I would throw my boy cat.
Oh, you've got a boy cat called Seymour.
Seymour.
I was stuck on the... Do you think you could change that?
We were stuck on the other Seymour, I think.
Yeah.
But the cat Seymour is definitely the better Seymour.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And frankly, I would want to see no more of that man. Hello, Guilty Feminists. This is Deborah. I am actually in my hotel room here in Australia, where I'm still on tour. If you have been with us out at the live shows in Aotearoa or in Perth, Adelaide, Sydney or Melbourne, oh my God, you have been the absolute best audiences ever. If you're in London, please don't worry, we have not forgotten you. We'll be back at our usual home of King's Place on the 12th of June and 15th of July. On the 12th of June, I will be sitting down with the multi-talented Sophie Willen from Alma's Not Normal. She's bringing out a new series. It's going to be very exciting. We've also got some other great guests. And on the 15th of July, there will be some amazing Edinburgh Festival sneak previews from some of the funniest comedians in the country. Yes, the Edinburgh Fringe is coming, and we will be recording 3 episodes in Edinburgh on the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th of August at the Gilded Balloon at the museum, which is a beautiful venue. We'd love to see you at any or all of these recordings. Remember, in London, if you can't get to Edinburgh, you can come to our show on the 15th of July and see some of those Edinburgh acts ahead of time. We'd love to see you at any or all of these recordings. For more information and for tickets, go to guiltyfeminist.com and click on live shows. You can support the podcast to get ad-free episodes by going to patreon.com/guiltyfeminist or via Apple Podcasts. And if you feel like leaving us a 5-star review for this or any episode, that would really help other people find the podcast, and it would also make my day. And now back to the podcast. To come back to you, Aleisha, you have recently been selected to attend the Commission on the Status of Women at the UN HQ in New York. So you went to the United Nations. What were your key takeaways from that?
The biggest key takeaway is how much I love New York City.
What a Sex and the City answer. Are you a Carrie? You look like a Carrie to me.
I look like a Carrie to you?
I don't know. You've got a Carrie vibe, I mean, you know.
Oh, How do we feel about that? Is that good?
No, that's good. That's chic. That's
chic. Oh,
Yeah,
I'll take the chic.
Like you've got style,
Put together.
you've got attitude. I mean, she's a terrible person, really, but, you know, it's I just mean of the, you know, you've got attitude, you've got authorship, you know, that kind of thing.
I definitely wanted to kind of strut the streets the way Carrie does.
Yeah.
And because no one knew me there, I totally did. But
Excellent.
New York City is pretty incredible. It has this hum about it. But if I'm honest, I was walking the streets and I was like, I feel really comfortable here. It kind of reminds me of Wellington. It's really windy. So there you go, Welly. We're doing quite well. But in terms of what I learned at the UN...
This is called The Guilty Feminist, guys. The Guilty Feminist.
I had to start with the fun part.
Yeah, start with the guilty part.
Yeah, foreign policy is a beast, and I'm obviously not a policy person. I work in software, so I really don't know much about politics except that the stuff I had to learn because of who I am. But I learned that the United Nations is a very complex and international body with its own problems around gender. The opening ceremony on the Commission of the Status of Women, and for those of you who don't know, the Commission on the Status of Women is this international 10-day gathering where they bring all of these heads of state together and all of these governments together to talk about issues relating to women and gender. And by the end of it, they come up with this agreed conclusions document. It's over 30 pages long, and they genuinely debate every single word of that document. There is trading of language so that progress can be made over here, and it might mean that we lose a little bit over there. It can be quite upsetting, actually, as someone who is very opinionated. I think I would really struggle with the compromises that some of those governments have to make small wins somewhere else, or even to kind of hold the line in some places. So it was really interesting to be in that context and kind of see how the political landscape here translates overseas.
How does it impact your work with the National Council of Women? That was started here 125 years ago, so implying you still haven't won yet. But, you know, you work with Indigenous women. What are the big challenges here that you want to see changed?
That felt like 4 questions in one, but...
well, answer any one of them that you like. Pick a question.
Something I really want to talk about that I learned while I was at the Commission on the Status of Women is that New Zealand, interestingly, is seen as quite progressive compared to other countries.
We used to be.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and especially coming from the background that I come from, working with community organisations, and having the relationship with the government that we do, that was... there was this feeling of disillusionment almost. And also there's this moment of like, we can look back and say, you know, we were the first country to give women the right to vote. That's cool, we can celebrate that win, but we also have to acknowledge the colonial history and the fact that before colonisation, Māori women didn't need a vote as such, you know, like there is an understanding that needs to happen there before we can celebrate those wins. But it also means that I don't want us to get complacent. So if New Zealand is seen by member states of the UN as this, you know, highly regarded, super progressive and diverse and inclusive country, let's be that. You know, let's keep striving to be better and keep listening to our Indigenous women and our ethnic women, our refugee women, our women of colour, our disabled women, our rainbow community. You know, like let's make sure that other countries want to be us, and they want to reach the limits that we set for them.
I love that. Can I just say, it's a thing that I hold really dearly, is that we're a small country, and that means we can do whatever the fuck we want, really. You know,
why not?
Yeah, why not? Well, the stakes are kind of low for us. We should just do shit.
I have to say, as someone who lives in the UK and has for a long time, we do look to you with some envy. And I really hope that this Prime Minister is not in for long, and that you can work very, very hard to win the next election. And that brings us to Sue. Can you teach us some self-defense? So
Why
firstly,
not?
is there something you can teach every person in this audience?
Yeah, sure. Have we got our pre-prepared?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, when we came in, we said we need a man, and it's not what the texts were expecting to hear, to be honest, with the title of the show. But Mark volunteered to be how do we to be
the shit taken out of
demonstrated
him.
on. No, to be
Oh,
demonstrated on.
sorry.
And I think it's because he looked at Sue and underestimated her. So please welcome to the stage, Mark. Okay.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah,
Mark is
so lovely. Okay, so
Do you want? Oh, sorry. Shall we put the mic on here
thank you.
so you can release your hands? Absolutely. And if you just sort of speak in that direction, we should pick you
move
up.
it down to Sue's height.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
So this is not what you'll be practicing your seats. I'll teach you two things. And but sometimes, basically, when we were talking about, some good things to learn, well, I just knee to the groin. You know, I mean, it's useful to know that. Volunteer. Pre-prepared earlier. So the thing is, obviously, when you do this kind of thing, you do have to be fairly close. Like, obviously, if this the assault or whatever is happening a further distance, if you can escape, call police, whatever. You know, you're using what we call verbal self-defence. However, when someone reaches that point where they're a bit closer to you, for example, if they grabbed your wrist, right? Obviously, there's a whole bunch of things you could do with your fabulous shoes, kicking to the shin and all the rest of it, biting, right? Or knee to the groin, right? So, some women think you've got to bring the D this way. No, it's there, right? You've looked, it's there. So it's a little...
Sue, we're on a podcast, so where's there? Because the listeners at home are going to go, where's there?
45-degree angle, knee, groin.
Okay, so it's not up between the legs, it's straight on into the penile area.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that important?
Preferably above.
Oh,
So
it's
you're
above
aiming
the
for here.
penis. It's above the penis where you would
you
imagine.
straight the penis, but your energy is going up like that.
Your energy's going up like that. Okay, all right. Well, we'll try and put this video out on Instagram at the same time so people can see what you just did. Can we have a go? Michelle, would you like to have a go?
I would love to, because I just want you to know I lost the Trade Me auction.
Yes,
So
it was
I'm
a
very
tragic moment.
angry.
Yes.
Mark.
Bad news, Mark. Nobody here bought it for her, did they? No, good.
No, it was someone called George.
George. Okay. So imagine Mark is George. He's stolen your black velvet jacket. Oh.
Hands down, knees up.
Oh.
I see. Wait, no, let's try that. Okay. I'm
Hold on to
using
you.
his weight on. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm pulling
Excellent.
back 'cause I'm nice.
Excellent. Can I try too? Yes. Okay. All right. You have to film it. Okay, ready? Okay. So I'm in a situation where a man grabs me. Okay. Oh, I'm scared now. What do I do?
You're moving your hands down,
Down.
that way as your
Okay.
knee comes upwards.
Okay. So I'm.
A region, 4 metre
So,
region.
okay. So
Yes.
we're not professionals, so Mark's genuinely scared of us because we might get it wrong. Right, ready? Okay. All right.
Hands down, there.
Oh, I had a Serena Williams grunt there. That was good. Wasn't it? That was good. Now, are there any other moves you can show us?
The one that we can all practice, and that's sort of something close proximity.
Yeah.
Is we have a hand free, either hand free, coming straight onto the bridge of the nose. So this is called the hammer hit. So your
A
hand,
bridge of the nose hammer hit. Okay. So we
And if
all
you
have
have
to
your phone in
practice.
your hand, that
so
works too.
everybody up in the air. And can we have the house lights up a bit so we can film the audience doing it? Okay, house lights up a bit just so we can film the audience doing it.
Hit the
Okay,
head in front of you,
we'll do
please.
that. Okay, I'm just going to start it again. There we go. Okay, so
Whoa,
can
this
you
looks
count
crazy.
3, 2, 1? 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh,
3,
and what we could do is yell out something like, fuck off.
Okay, you said it. 3, 2, 1,
one.
fuck off! Oh, that's good, that's good. And
I've
just,
got goosebumps.
thank you so much. Big round of applause for Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Excellent. And just quickly, Sue, you told us before about a child who someone put their hand on their knee on public transport,
yeah.
and you told us something I thought was really important that we should all know. You taught the child, and then they said, what did they do? They said something.
So this was a 5 or 6 year old girl on a bus. A fellow put his hand on her thigh like this, and she said, "Get your hand off my leg, you dirty old creep."
Yes, that's very good.
6 year old.
Yeah.
And he just immediately,
A lot of people go into freeze, and it's absolutely normal. If it's happened to you or it does happen to you, it is not your fault. It is an absolute thing that comes over the body to protect yourself. But I think if we rehearse saying it out loud, it helps us in the moment. Because you're so
totally
shocked.
think so.
You're thinking this can't be happening. So if we all rehearse it. So a friend of mine in the tube in London is often so crowded, you're shoved up against each other. And some men rub themselves. They go catch the tube at rush hour, especially to rub themselves on you or whatever. And a friend of mine was in rush hour, and a man just put his hand on her. She's quite posh, and she said really loudly, "Get your fucking hand off my fucking cunt." And she said he was so embarrassed that everyone stared at him, and she said, "I felt like he would never do it again because I'd humiliated him." And she said mostly women just go, "Oh, well, I guess it's just really crowded. Maybe is he? And you can't kind of believe it. You edge away, and then you feel, either way you've been sexually assaulted. But it was that. So I wondered is there something we could practice saying that together, where we put our own hand on our own knee and we imagine it's someone else's hand. So maybe sit on it a bit first to numb it. And then you put your own hand on your own knee. And what do we say, Sue?
Well, there are so many different ways of dealing with this. I met a woman who was at a yacht club annual general meeting. She was on the board. And a guy was doing this during the dinner. This, yeah. She got her fork and she just went...
Oh. So carry a fork on public transport,
Mobile
just
phone.
in case. Carry a fork. But you said sometimes someone should, you can punch their hand, or you can use your phone as a weapon.
Everyone is a bit different. So, grabbing a finger, back that way, or something. Get your hand off my leg. Just get your hand and don't say please.
Yeah,
Right, you're
I would.
making the order.
I know I would.
So
I'd say,
get your
"Ooh."
hand off my leg. And it's how you say it. It's your attitude. That's really important.
I also like it that you're describing what's happening. You're not just going,
you're
fuck off.
describing.
In general, you're going,
You're declaring it.
off my knee. Your hand is
yes.
on my knee, take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Clarity.
more you can loudly say, "You're a stranger to me. Why are you touching me?" will really embarrass them.
And hopefully gets the bystander help that you're also looking
So let's
for.
just practice it. So put your own hand on your own knee, and then you're just going to say out loud, what did you say?
It's whatever you want to say.
I
It's
think we should
important.
just to sort of give ourselves our Fleabag power.
Cathartic
Get your
something.
fucking
Fucking
hand
hand
off my
my
fucking
fucking
knee.
knee.
Okay? All right, 1, 2, 3.
Get your fucking hand off my fucking knee.
Very good. This is very good. Thank you so much. I have learnt so much from both of our guests. Thank you so much for coming. Is there any URL or any way people could follow you or hear more about what you're doing? Aleisha?
I'm on the internet.
So we
It's an
hear.
understatement.
Is that the internet that got delivered that time?
Yeah, on a
yeah.
bicycle.
That's right, come,
Okay.
yeah.
So if you could find Aleisha Amohia on the internet, all the details will be in the show notes. And same, you've got a dojo in Wellington, haven't you, Sue?
Yes, they were practicing tonight.
Oh, great. So Sue Lytollis, and find her dojo in Wellington if you'd like to learn more. Big round of applause for Aleisha and Sue. And also for my incredible co-pilot this evening, Michele. She's been a joy on these 3 shows. And keep that applause going to close the show, the wonderful Grace Petrie. Hello.
Well, I shall try and leave you on a bit of a high. I'm coming back to Wellington to do... you've got a ticket? Hey! Follow this person's example down here. That's great. I'm playing at the San Fran on the 13th of October. I'd fucking love to see you there. You can get tickets at my website. Sorry? I'm doing it now. Oh. You're really overestimating the demand for tickets for Grace Petrie. But no, scarcity is good, isn't it? Yeah, I think you should fucking get on it, guys. To be honest. So I'm gonna sing you a song about politics. Lots of wonderful ways that we've been hearing about to make the world a better place. I find that I get quite overwhelmed sometimes when I think about the state of the world, and everyone I know who sort of feels politically similar to me, they feel the same way. They get overwhelmed, right? And I feel like, the idea of how broken everything is, sometimes that can be so overwhelming that we don't even do anything. Do you know what I mean? That's how I feel anyway. And I have this suspicion that if maybe all of us kind of just started somewhere, maybe together we'll find the end of the roll of sellotape. Do you know what I mean? So I wrote a song about that. It's called Fixer Upper. And it's got a line I would love you to join in with if you're up for it. One person is very keen. I appreciate you specifically. It's gonna, in the chorus, your line is, I know it will be hard, right? I'm gonna sing it for you now so you know the tune. It goes like this. I think this world's a fixer-upper, broken in the middle of a salvage yard, and I know it will be hard. That's your bit, I know it'll be hard. Should we try it? I think this world's a fixer-upper, broken in the middle of a salvage yard, and I know it will be hard. That's amazing. And if you can sing that with your whole hearts, then what will happen is that capitalism will fall, actually, tonight. It depends on how badly you want that, I say. It's commensurate with how loudly you're going to sing. It goes like this. From an awful dream in June of 2016 in a far-right fake news fucked up universe. And though we sang the mountain goats loud enough to bruise our throats, every year that followed just got worse and worse. Well, I read the warning signs of these dark and troubled times. Now I'm trying to keep my head above the waterline. I'm losing sleep on sleeping masses, counting sheep and greenhouse gases. As doomsday clocks and TikTok say we're running out of time. But I think this world's a fixer-upper, broken in the middle of a salvage yard, and I know it will be hard. Oh, all we've got now is each other, and we're overwhelmed and wondering where to start. Yeah, I know it will be hard. And maybe I'm delusional, but I think it could be beautiful if we could only keep from losing hearts. Then we might still have time to build something better from the past. When I was young and still naive, I thought that it was guaranteed that things would change for better, not for worse. But now the place I'm born and grown is pillaged like the end of Rome. It feels just like we're going 90 in reverse. As misinformation thrives, we are fighting for our lives, just to make sure when the smoke clears there'll be anything left. The road ahead feels bleak and jaded, all my future hopes have faded. I'm sinking, overthinking, over-drinking, I think this world's a fixer-upper, broken in the middle of a salvage yard. And I know it will be hard. Oh, all we've got now is each other, and we're overwhelmed and wondering where to start. Yeah, I know it will be hard. And maybe I'm delusional, but I think it could be beautiful if we could only keep from losing heart. Then we might still have time to build something better from the past. Something better from the past. So no more we will organise, stronger when we unionise. The sorrow shining in your eyes, I'm keeping it, babe. No more we will organise, stronger when we empathise. Resistance rising like the tides to wash all the winter away. Wash it all away. So grab a spade, yeah, grab a hammer, plant some seeds and raise a banner. Roll your sleeves and break the leaves left by the passing storm. Boil the kettle, build a movement, every day some small improvement. Ready ground to lay down all the world yet to be born. Lace your boots, find the shoots, still struggling through the rotted roots. The saplings laid by other folks, we will turn into mighty oaks. The battle scars, the broken parts of dreams who outlasted those hearts. Everything you dream is possible, it's waiting to be made. So my comrade, come grab a spade, because this world's a fixer-upper, broken in the middle of a salvage yard. And I know it will be hard. Oh, I go singing for my supper, dragging half the contents of a salvage yard. Yeah, I know it will be hard. And maybe I'm delusional, but I think you are beautiful. And if we could just keep from losing heart, we might still not rest until, if anybody can, you will build something better from the past. Thanks for singing along. Thank you so much, Wellington.
You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist with me, Deborah Francis-White, guest co-host Michele A. Court, and our very special guests, Aleisha, Amohia, Lytollis, Mohammed, and Arihia with music by Grace Petrie. The theme tune was by Mark Hodge. The producer was Tom Silinsky for the spontaneous shot. Thanks to Kylie Jackson, Lindsay Clements, everyone at Bone Sense, as well as all of you for listening. More information about this and other episodes, visit guiltyfeminist.com.
Applications are done so more, did you say non-white? So non-white picket fence. Okay, let me say that again. So more non-white picket fence. I'm just saying for the podcast. So it's sometimes if I repeat something or pick something up and you think, well, we knew what you meant. It's so we can edit out the error so that the magic of podcasting is no one will ever know I fucked up. Now you will know, and you paid extra to come and see the errors. The people at home who get this for absolutely free, they'll think I'm a genius. And that is why you come here to see what is behind the curtain, or indeed, the sequined cape. So I'm going to pick that up again. So you try and change the lending process so it's not just white picket fence.
The Guilty Feminist is provided exclusively from Acast. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.